Yeah, that's right. It's after midnight. I'm doing a show. What about it? We need the dim lights? Here, let me dim the lights. You know what? I need the dim lights. It's a long... Here we go. Let me drop these down just a little bit. Little dim light. Here we go. Turn a little orange, too. Soften the light. Drop it out. There we go. Oh, that's a little too dim. There we go. Dim those lights. I wonder if I can get my little scene to work. Maybe I can turn it to a little bit of yellow. No? Soft yellow? There we go. It's a little softer. Tune it out. There we go. That ain't it. All right, screw it. We're back to this. There we go. It's not nearly as bad. It'll probably look terrible on YouTube, but who cares? What's going on, everybody? Welcome into Jacked Ramsays. I am Danny Marang, and Brandon has been asleep for 3 hours, 4 hours, 5. What time is it? 5. We'll go 5 hours. Yes, it's an only Dan's night. Let me adjust this because with the solo camera, it always gets a little bit weird. There we go. What the hell happened tonight? What the hell happened? It was a basketball game was played. Let's say that. Basketball game was played. So many ups and downs, so many storylines in tonight's game. The big ones, obviously. I don't think I need to ask Damian Lillard whether or not he's back. I don't think we have to worry about his athleticism or his burst. Still don't know what the hell Bill Simmons was watching in Game 1 against Sacramento. He said it looked like he was missing his burst. I just thought he was getting knocked to the ground by Domantas Sabonis over and over again. But whatever. Blazers win in overtime, 113-111. Let's hit through the big storylines of the night. The Blazers suck in the first half. Damian Lillard is awesome. That's what I saw. They looked okay to start the game. Dame was on fire. Unfortunately, nobody else could hit anything. But they kept it within earshot. And I think that was kind of the story for tonight. Is that even when things weren't going well, they didn't panic. They didn't lose the rope. There were like a dozen times tonight that they could lose the rope, and they didn't. And that's you really have to give credit to them. Dame talked about it at the post game. They wanted to stick to it. They did. It wasn't like one of those things where, hey, we tried doing it Chauncey's way. We can't do this. We can't do that. Like, it's time to go back to what we know and we know what we want to do. Because there's going to be some back and forths in that, particularly on the offensive end. I think there's significantly more buy-in right now on the defensive than there is in the offensive end. I think there's still a little, not a butting of heads, but it's going to be a process. It does matter when they say you can see them trying to work through things, like really trying to and when you nail it down. With what LeBron... But I don't know. I don't know why there was music playing. That shouldn't have been playing over the top of it. Oh, that's cool. This will probably get taken down and DCMA'd because ESPN was playing in the background. God, I hate ESPN's autoplay ads. I had the freaking ESPN scoreboard up. You know what I should do? I should just pull up my internal game tracker from the Blazers. That should have all the stuff I need on it anyways. Yep, there we go. Perfect. It's actually way neater this way. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. I'll have to edit all that out. Yes, guys, I know Stephen A's talking. ESPN was playing on my desktop. So that's how we got here. I'll let it catch up so everybody's not saying, hey, Stephen A's in the comments. It's midnight. I'm sorry. Okay? This game had just different iterations through each quarter that were kind of hard to really match up and parse through. And I think we're going to probably see that for a while, and it's going to cost them in some games. I don't think you're going to have Dame get 41 on relatively good efficiency. But what I saw tonight was a team that stuck to what they wanted to do. That's the thing. Is I think they were willing to give it the old college try. And honestly, looking at it, I was pretty impressed coming away from it. Let's do a quick rundown here before we get back to quarter by quarter. First quarter, Dame obviously gets it done. I thought Nurk was actually pretty poor in that quarter, and I think at the rest of the game he was phenomenal as far as the output. He had some stuff that, like not absolutely eviscerating Damian Lee in the paint, but like I'm not going to nitpick Nurk right now. Great game from him tonight. Kudos, salute. He stood up to DeAndre Ayton and matched him, so shouts to him. But the Blazers got here by playing just sloppy, lazy offensive basketball. Not taking care of the ball. 13 first-half turnovers to turn into 23 points. At one point in time, I think there was like 5-6 minutes left to go in the second quarter. I don't think they committed another turnover. I think they maybe had 12, and they maybe had one more. But it was contributing to that point half of the Suns' points. And it was like, oof, what the hell are you supposed to do with this? Like, you can't not shoot threes and spoon feed a team like the Suns points. And they clamped that down in the second half. They only had 7 turnovers in the second half, which is still probably a little high, but they also contributed 0 points to turnovers. So if you're looking for the improvement marker, like, hey, they cleaned this up, they fixed this, that's a good line. That's a good spot to be. Overall, Dame is going to get the flowers tonight, and he should. He was fantastic as a scorer. He saw what they needed, and the credit needs to come. Yes, he hit threes. He's 5 of 12 from 3, so that's always going to be helpful, but 12 of 12 from the free throw line. Through 2 games, the Trailblazers have gotten to the free throw line 30 times. They've gotten over 50 or more points in the paint and gotten 20 points of transition in both games, while taking less than 33s. That is the complete opposite of what this team has been. I think on average they took 41 threes, in 2020 or 2021. If I'm trying to go off the top of my head, my brain's kind of scrambled right now. I've been working 8 o'clock this morning, so please bear with me. But they found a way in a game where they had 14 assists, the Suns had 31, to get it done, because here's the thing. They have multiple ways to score. Now, Dame scored nearly half their points. I know that isn't the best option or the best game to kind of highlight that, but they can get Josh Hart, they can get Jeremy Grant, they can get Jusuf Nurkic, they can get Damian Lillard, they can get Anfernee Simons, and they can get a little bit from any given night. Game 1, Shaedon Sharpe, 12 points. Game 2, Nasir Little, what did he finish with? 10? 9 points on 4 or 5. Just dunking on dudes, getting to the rim, knocks down a 3. Like, those are, what is that, 5, 6, 7 guys? 7 guys that you can count on to, like, go do stuff to get points for you. It doesn't have to be just Dame or just CJ, or it has to be thrown into Nurk. There are guys who can, while they don't all have the same wiggle and level of shot creation, it doesn't just fall off a freaking cliff after Dame and CJ, now Dame and Ant. Now there's a couple other guys. And even on a night like tonight where Ant was just, God, he couldn't find anything. He just couldn't find anything. He comes up with a game winner, which was tremendous, and we'll talk about that. But Grant, I mean, he was pretty passive tonight. Didn't really. I don't. Nurk talked about it in the post game. Like Jeremy kind of felt like he wasn't as aggressive as he needed to be. I think Jeremy said the same thing. And Nurk was referencing that. Only took 7 shots. Hart only took 9 shots. That collectively, what are they? 6 of 16. Like nothing to write home about. But I thought both those guys were timely shooters. They hit 2 threes between them. But I think both of them hit shots that were hugely important in the moment. Both had rebounds that were hugely important. Both had passes that were hugely important in the game. There was the Ant to Hart on the wing pass, and it was in Hart's hands for 0.2 seconds before he's redirected it to Eubanks for the dunk. And you could see the play developing from up high, and you're like, that's it. That's like what they're hoping to get to, is that tiki-taka that Klay Thompson was talking about with the Warriors. Hit it and move, let it be in your hand for a half second. If there's nothing there, keep it going. They're not there yet. And to be honest, I don't think they ever will be. But having that element to your offense at times to make it easier is something that was not there before. And I don't want to take credit away from Chauncey, because he does deserve some credit. But I'm also not going to sit here and look at Terry Stotts and go, see, this is what you should have been doing, because the difference is they have dudes who can do it now. And this is what we've heard all summer. We want guys that are bigger, stronger, longer, more athletic, that are dogs, that play a certain way, that have a certain mindset. And you're seeing it pop up. And shout out dog number 36. Every time I see your name, I'm going to say it, man. It's a great name. But you saw that stuff carry them through certain moments, and not necessarily even on the offensive side. It was on the defensive side, because they couldn't do anything with Ayton early on. What did he finish? 12 of 22. He was a problem early in the game. He went cold. He went cold. He missed bunnies. Still finished with 26-5 and 26-6 and 4, something like that. He still had an incredible game. Defensively, I thought he was really good until really right at the end. He made a couple errors, stepping up a little too far or fumbled the ball. It was funny when the Suns were playing well earlier in the game. The Blazers got a couple loose ball deflections, opportunities that like poked, ping-ponged around, and then ended up back in the Suns' lap and then went back in. I was like, that sucks. But the process is good. It's going to come back for them. They may not come back in this game, but it's going to come back for them. And they stuck to that. And they did. It came back to them. What did they finish with? 8 steals tonight? Yeah, 8 steals. It'll be fun to see what the deflection numbers look like tonight. So what's interesting is the biggest lead tonight was 12. Even though the game felt like it maybe have gotten a little bit out of hand, I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that the tempo of the game was quicker. And so many possessions going on, and so much going on over and over and over again. And you could kind of get lost in it. But the flip side of it was, like, the biggest lead was 12 for Phoenix. Biggest lead for Portland was 5. But what's interesting is the Suns led for 39 minutes and 35 seconds. The Blazers led for 6 minutes and 11 seconds. If you're doing the math there, that's not a lot. Like, at all. That's basically the overtime period, which they didn't lead by. Yes, Danny is sleepy. Danny is very sleepy. There's no doubt about that. But again, one of the last things I get before we kind of go moment by moment here, or player by player, however you want to go it. The Blazers also did a tremendous job of the stick-to-itiveness of getting to the free throw line, because they kept getting their feet in the paint. Hart, Nurk, Simons, and Dame just kept getting there over and over and over and over. 36 free throws, that'll save you on a bad shooting night. They ended up shooting relatively okay as a team from 3. 10 of 29, while the Suns were 10 of 27. The Suns beat them out. The Suns actually hit 7 more shots, but the Blazers hit 16 more free throws on, 15 more attempts? That was the thing, is they got to the line and they took them. Or I'm sorry, they got to the line and they hit them. Got to the line and took them. Yeah, that's exactly it. collectively, they just kept doing what they needed to do, and it was impressive. Let's kind of go down the list. Dame's going to get his flowers but spend some time talking about Nurk because I beat the hell out of him all preseason. And hell, game one, I thought he was piss poor in that game. I thought he started out a little slow, but he closed his first shift. I'm trying to remember now. 5 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. I'm trying to go off the top of my head. I believe that's what he closed his first shift with. And I was like, I don't know if I really felt his impact there. But I will take him doing box score things, and maybe we'll get something going out of this. Like this is positive. So just don't be disappointed. Like don't be frustrated by this. Just hey, that's already better than what you were getting from Nurk against Sacramento. So as it kind of built up, he did a couple flip shots, a little bit of frustration. He was maybe a little slow defensively, and I'm like, all right, I'm starting to roll my eyes. And then he just got a couple plays, got a couple finishes, got a couple short roll touches. And Chauncey really hit on the fact that he was driving home to Nurk. I need you to keep rolling. I need you to keep rolling. I need you to keep rolling. And he said that Nurk was a little bit more passive in the sense of not necessarily not rolling at all, but not rolling with the intent of scoring. He's like he's too passive. He's not going towards the rim, and that's if you've followed the roller coaster that is Jusuf Nurkic, not going aggressively towards the rim is one of the biggest red flags. Because when 7 foot 300 pounds starts taking 1, 2, 3 step towards the rim on a short roll catch, not a lot's going to stop it. It's not. So more often than not, if you start going that way, science wins at that point. That's really what it comes down to. 7 foot 300 pounds, mass times velocity squared. Boom. Science wins. And honestly, there was a couple plays where had he just dump truck, he got Chris Paul once. He ran Chris Paul over. And Chris Paul was very hesitant to be the guy coming out of the weak side corner to tag the roll man, giving up a foot and 100 pounds, which is exactly what should happen. Jusuf Nurkic picking up an offensive foul to start every game in the first quarter, I'd be fine with it. Just make sure you get a good solid piece of somebody. I'm being dead serious. Because then it's like there's a tone being set. Now, he didn't quite reach that level, but you started to see the flippy shots disappear and the turn into And it was the action itself was going towards the rim and not falling away from the rim to either side. It was going down the middle. And that was kind of the start of it. And then Nurk started getting in more defensively, keeping things out of the lane. What was interesting is I didn't feel like I felt Devin Booker's presence almost the entire first half. I look up and I'm like, he's having a good half, but hasn't really been great. It was really Ayton. Ayton was killing him. Ayton was just a monster in the first half. And then the third quarter comes out and they just kind of got things kind of stuck again. And it took the second group with Ant to kind of unstick it. You had the athletic unit with Ant and Eubanks and Shaden. It wasn't pretty, but you had these little bursts to keep them within 5 points, within 6 points, within 7 points. They're just right there, needling away. And then you finally saw it start to, around halfway through the third quarter, start to change. I asked Chauncey about just the idea of the struggling offense. Both in Sacramento and Phoenix, did a lot of what we saw tonight, was it helpful for them and for you? Because Ant struggled tonight. Ant had a rough night, and this is the same Phoenix team that drove him crazy last year. They got super aggressive, and Ant questioned kind of where he was and what he needed to do offensively, and he got caught on some traps, on some blitzes. He got a little too close to the sideline, and I asked Chauncey about that as a kind of an overarching theme of when they did that and they kind of pushed some things out of rhythm and they were taking you out of some of your sets, did moving everything to the center of the floor and going more spread pick and roll, putting Dame and Ant back in positions that they're familiar with and that they're good at. Because it's when you're on the sideline, it's like another defender. You've got the ability to wall a guy off, which it did. They didn't show the trap on Ant early, and then they just spring it. It would if Terry used to do this, he'd do that whistle, and they did that to James Harden, and that was their trap. And they would bring it, and Terry would whistle like 30 times in a game. It was nuts. But they were kind of doing the same thing. I couldn't pick up the cue of what it was for. I don't know if it was Chris Paul was just dictating it or if there was something I just couldn't pick up or hear. But they brought it aggressively on Ant about 40 feet up on the sideline when Ant got too close, and he wasn't able to swing it to the other side of the floor and take advantage of the balance. Chauncey kind of pulled him aside and was, hey, this is what you got to do. This is where you got to be. And they kind of worked on where that needed to go, which is a little bit of foreshadowing because Dame has experienced this so much. Remember the New Orleans series? I mean, they made life hell for him. It was incredibly rough. His roughest playoff performance in his career, and it was a learning experience for Dame. I mean, it was rough for him. Drew Holiday, Anthony Davis, and Rajon Rondo just made life hell for Dame. Chris Paul was that for Dame for years, and you're seeing that tonight, both Okogie and Mikal Bridges, along with Chris Paul and Jock Longdale later in the game when he was coming up as the big on the trap. They got Ant to commit a couple turnovers. They flustered him. What did Ant finish with the turnovers tonight? I was looking. I think he had 4, right? Yeah, he finished with 4. Both him and Dame. Little sloppy with the ball tonight. And I thought the recovery by Ant after those couple of plays, he came back in, got with that next unit, and he cleared that up. He got to the middle of the floor, then he drove and set some guys up. He drove, obviously he had the pass from Ant to Hart to Eubanks for the dunk, and there was the other play where a driving kick to Nasir. Nasir took advantage of the mismatch, drove down the rim, and I think it was Booker. He bodied the living shit out of Booker at the rim and sent him flying. Finished the layup, and it came back and flexed, and there was a deflection. Him and Justice are high-five and flexing. You could see Nas get a little bit of burst out of tonight, too. But I say all this is you kind of started to see this snowball momentum being created for the Blazers on offense and defense, and they got back in the game on both ends. And a lot of it had to do with confidence and building and trust, and that's kind of, I know, again a very cliche, but that it was, you could feel it. What's really interesting is you look at tonight, and you look at Justice Winslow, 1 of 4, Jeremy Grant, 3 of 7, Josh Hart, 3 of 9. Those 3 guys, Ant 5 of 17. The only guys who really shot well tonight were Dame and Nurk on ball. And that's not true. Drew and Nasir were very good in limited volume. But there was some poor shooting tonight. And the guys outside of Dame and Ant, even though they weren't shooting well, they were timely with their shots, and they were effective in other facets of the game, where in the past that wasn't going to be the case. And that moment, and there's no reason to foul him. Like you don't need to run at Damian Lee. Like, I know he was big against the Mavericks in Game 1, but treating Damian Lee like Steph Curry, don't need to do. But he fouls him fouls the jump shooter on the 3, and it's like, crap. And Chauncey, he doesn't yank him out of there pissed off. He yanked him out of there to coach him. He gave him the "what are you doing jumping out at him like that? You know better." It was one of those, I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed talks. But he kind of gave him a chest bump and got him gassed up. Like, you know better, now go out there and smacks him on the ass, puts it back out there. And you could see Nas just kind of finish the shift with a whole bunch of energy. Like, it was just a little, you could feel the energy of what the players have talked about with feeding off of Chauncey and knowing how to really motivate them, get to them. And I could really see that with the young guys especially. Dame has talked about how much he's I trust him in Chauncey. But the thing that really stood out to me was that every single guy, down to Shaden, who was out there, 10, 12 minutes, didn't hit a shot. I thought even he played good defense and got things going and was out there in crunch time. And just his athleticism, his presence, he used his fouls. Like, again, Shaedon Sharpe was 0 for 2, 0 for 1 from 3, had 2 rebounds, 0 assists, 4 fouls, and a turnover, but was a +7 in his 12 minutes. That's that shift. That's that shift, that second shift that was the group Dame, Shaedon, Nas, Justice, and Drew. And there was a level of physicality on defense. There was a level of commitment and communication that really pushed through. It was very impressive. So that was kind of the big overarching thought. I'm sure this is going to sound like one long, like, never-ending run-on sentence when I go to edit this, but I don't care. I've seen a lot of comments in the chat about Jeremy Grant. I think he's as good as he was in Game 1. They're going to have some games like this because he's got to find himself in the pecking order. Because on a night like tonight, Ant was still shooting, trying to find his way through, and Dame talked about that. Like, he's just got to find a way, and he's going for all of the. I remember everybody's wondering, well, I don't know if Jeremy Grant can handle being the number 3 or number 4 option. The pecking order of shots is Damian Lillard, Anfernee Simons, everyone else. And you can probably say that Jeremy Grant's probably number 3 and Jusuf Nurkic is number 4. But I think that can change. I think some nights Josh Hart might fall in there. It could be a night, who knows, when Shaedon is just dummy hot and he gets 12 shots up instead of 5. I think you can see that. But there's a clear 1-2. Beyond that, I think you're going to see some nights like this from Grant. But the flip side is, what you saw from Jeremy Grant tonight was he spent damn near every one of his 40 minutes on one of Chris Paul or Devin Booker. And Book had a good game. Chris Paul had a good game. But this is kind of insane to say this, that Book had 33 and it didn't feel like Book took over the game. I thought he made him work his ass off for those points. And that's something the Blazers just haven't had in a long time. That's a really good Suns team. It really is. But Grant took the challenge all night. Josh Hart took the challenge all night of making those guys work very hard for shots. And I think you're going to live with that. Because the consistency on that end of the floor, whether you're talking about Mo Harkless or Al-Farouq Aminu or whatever forward Neil O'Shea had over the years, you knew you weren't getting the offense. Like, that was the expectation, is like the offensive burden is going to fall on these guys, Dame, CJ. The defensive burden is going to fall on these guys because of the personnel. And, you're just going to have to figure this whole thing out. And now, because the offensive burden, while Dame, again, had a monster night, the offensive burden doesn't have to fall on Damian Lillard. And because of that, maybe he can take the back seat. He can chill for a little bit here or there. Because in the press conference tonight, he talked about how, on nights where he feels like he's got it going, he knows it. He goes, tonight I didn't feel like I was rolling. Like, I didn't feel like I was having one of those nights. And that was because I was able to sit back and defer in certain moments, whether it's Nurk, whether it's Ant, whether it's Josh or Jeremy or Nasir. Like, there was, again, for the 18th time this show, trust. There was trust there. And that's why I think for so many years, I've defended Dame on this, because the offensive burden has been so tremendous on him because he didn't have other guys around him who could help him. That's the thing, is he never had those guys around him like you could trust to help him. CJ was the only one you could ever trust to help him. So I thought they did a tremendous job in that aspect tonight of trusting one another on both ends of the floor. Everybody's wondering about the end of game sequence, right? Or the free throws. From my eyes, it definitely looked like they don't trust you to make these shots, or they don't trust you to make these free throws. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. And then he definitely said, hell no. Now, Dame in postgame said he said, "You're not familiar with the situation," or something along those lines, and he kind of had a wry smile on his face. But he trolled his ass off, chirped him up. Shout out Dame. I thought the Blazers did a tremendous job of battling adversity all night to kind of be down. Again, most of the night they were down. They were trailing for 40 minutes. For those getting in here late, they trailed for 39 minutes and 35 seconds. They did a tremendous job of being there. I saw people ask me to ask Chauncey. I could only get one question in tonight, and I was asking more about the offense, the basketball stuff. But people were a little upset or confused or frustrated by Chauncey challenging the call there at the end. Corey Jez, who's the analytics guy you guys are going to see on the broadcast, had a tweet out there breaking down the math behind it with how little time they had left. It really didn't make any sense to not challenge it with a timeout. That was the thing. Turned out to be the right call as far as, not needing it. But as far as going for it there, I don't mind it because you're probably calling the timeout to set anything there anyways. Even if he gets them both, I mean, you're going to go. You can advance, maybe get a decent look. If it rattles out, I don't know. But that's kind of where it goes, ultimately. I didn't really fight it. I thought he was going to take the timeout there anyways to set everything up. And I know you'd lose the advance out of that, and that you can debate the merits of that. But I didn't necessarily have a problem with it. I get both sides, but I'm kind of ambivalent in that situation. So probably gonna wrap this up because I went longer than I wanted to. Shout out to everybody who came in. Sorry for the sound issues there in the beginning and having ESPN running in the background. That's what I get for clicking the wrong tab. Let me see if there's any other questions in here that I'm missing beforehand. I think I kind of hit on everything that was kind of there. Oh, before I get out of here. Blazers take on the Lakers on Sunday. They're getting out of town early, I believe, early tomorrow morning, to get in LA ahead of time, which, feeling good about yourself, win 2 games, then go to LA on a Saturday and spend Saturday night in LA, play an afternoon game on Sunday. That doesn't sound like a recipe for a loss at all. LA nightlife undefeated. Don't be surprised if they don't look good on Sunday afternoon. I'm just saying that. And I don't think it'll have anything to do with the Lakers. There's a reason why teams that play in LA and Miami and places like that, when you're there Friday, Saturday night, it turns into a problem real quick. Teams have very, very bad records in those places, and that's why. So, other than that, thank you all so very much. I appreciate you for riding with me. It was almost 300 of you in here at midnight, 12:30. I'm going to go curl up in a bowl and die. I am very tired, but I will have you guys, or actually Brandon and I will have you guys covered. I think we're going to go Sunday afternoon after the game. We'll do a kind of a weekend wrap-up with Brandon. Also at the same time do a live show / mailbag to kind of grab everything. And we'll go from there. Other than that, you guys have a wonderful, wonderful night. Go enjoy Oregon UCLA tomorrow. And until Sunday, take care. Talk soon. Remember, like, rate, review, subscribe. Help us grow the show. Let me do a quick update here. Where are we at? What are we sitting at? I think we were just short of 4,000 before I started the show. We were at 3,984 subs. If there's 17 new people in here, go click subscribe. It's free. Get it to 4,000 so I can wake up in the morning and see something pretty and shiny. There you go. Other than that, thank you guys. I appreciate you. Love you. We'll catch you on Sunday. And again, it's a away game, so that will be a watch party game. So we'll catch you Sunday afternoon for the watch party. And until then, take care. Talk soon. Have a wonderful, wonderful night. Great day. And